Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, PTG, Proxy Table Gaming. I'm Hyper G with Lucky Sixes for an Old World Battle Report.
Here we are, the old world, baby.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Don't forget that we are the Old World reporting people. That is what we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time
And
for another battle, I think.
it is time for another battle. And it's, in the double figures now for
Hmm.
battles.
You could say that it's an old world now.
Hey,
Ah,
yeah, absolutely.
nothing new about
Um,
this old world.
yeah, so,
Oh.
so thanks very much for everyone that supported us so far. It's been
Hmm.
great little introduction into the old world and stuff. And we've,
Lots of views.
we've come across some OP lists and some units and things like that,
And
and
some
we've
illegal lists.
quite a few actually illegal lists, and
Yeah.
we're just about getting there and getting grips with the rules and stuff, and I think we've sort of gone a little bit, especially with this Wood Elf list. The last one I played
The filth
was very
train.
shooty. Yeah, it was very filthy,
Uh,
and it was kind of like where we were going to start off with, was finding
yeah,
the absolute filth. But that
yeah.
wasn't the best battle, and I needed quite quickly to have a battle with something other than filth, for a bit
Hmm.
of fun. And
Yeah.
this is what this Wood Elf thing came, and you were on your.
I went the opposite. I went to filth.
We went to filth, but
I
also
went to the filth.
was
Yes,
a different iteration of the Orcs and
it
Goblins as well.
was.
So we're trying out
Hmm.
different things as we go, which has been quite fun to do.
Yeah, yeah. It is good fun. The orc picture matches my list kind of as well.
It does,
I
yeah,
have a few of those chaps in there. Yeah.
absolutely. From the Wood Elf perspective, let's see what the trees do,
Good
right? Because
stuff.
we've seen what the elves do, and it's shoot
It is. It really is.
from 32 inches. So while there's still a little bit of that in there in terms of the Waste Stalkers and the Glade Guard, who I gave everything to, so they've got Fire and Flee and Vanguard and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in an effort to try and see what everything else does, we went for, and as well, it's a slightly different structure of the list. This is the first, I think, that we've had double level 4.
Yes, I don't think we've tried that, seen that in any of our battles, but it's
Yeah.
doable. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so at 2,000 points. We actually had another comment for a little while ago about how the points, because sometimes it's 19, 98, 19. We do officially have it as a 2,000 point battle for anybody
Yes.
wondering. So
Yeah.
that's why we've got two effectively Lord characters in a lot of the time, and things like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the item choices or the unit choices that say 1 per 1,000, we're saying you can have two
yes,
because
because
we're at 2,000
yeah,
points, even if we only spend
yeah,
1998 on them. So yeah,
absolutely.
don't worry about that too
So yeah,
much.
yeah.
It's all good.
But yeah, so double level 4, Treeman Ancient leading the way with a Spell Weaver and the Oaken Stave, which is a good item. I've been meaning to play it, actually, giving you extra dispel range.
Oh sure, yeah.
Some Dryads in core, Treekin in special with a Treeman in rare, and then some Wild Riders because they are a bit of a favourite of mine,
Hmm.
long standing, so it was quite nice to fit them in with the tree stuff as well,
Yeah.
in an effort to see some other things. So that was really cool. Pause and take a look if you want to.
I really like this list. Like this list just feels right for Wood Elves.
It does.
Uh,
It
Not
feels
that the shooting list isn't,
treaty.
but you know.
Yeah. And over to Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah, so I've learned from the whole you only allow one Black Orc character per Black Orc mob now, finally. And I've stuck with Black Orcs for the reason that I think the Black Orc War Boss is a very solid fighty
Yeah.
character general. So I decided to stick him on an Orc 4 chariot this time around. So I do have a 4 chariot model. And just the idea of how much like armor they can get and the extra wounds they get, it just seems like a real tanky way of having a fighter character. So he is the general in this one with the ogre blade, which is just such a hard weapon choice not to go with.
It's
It
solid,
just
isn't it?
seems like one of the best ones.
AP2 is
And
surprisingly good. Multiple wounds as
mm,
well.
yeah,
It's a solid item.
it is. And he's got talisman of protection just to help him out. And then starts the filtering a little bit, because I've got 5 Night Goblin characters. And the reason for that will become fairly obvious if you haven't already looked down at the list. But basically, I've got a Night Goblin Big Boss BSB, who's literally just BSB, just there naked carrying a banner. I've got 2 big bosses on giant cave squigs, who, well, they're really cool. So, hang on, just
you're missing one.
I'm missing one. Yeah.
Like, there's another Night Goblin boss.
There is another Night Goblin boss in there who's just a plain Night Goblin boss who hasn't even got a banner.
That's not on the list. Yeah.
Not on the list. Yeah, I was just thinking, oh crap, have I put one less Night Goblin? But he was there. Yes. So 2 on the giant cave squig. I did play those in the battle against Statrat against Empire. I quite like them roaming around because they're quite cool on the giant cave squigs. Extra wound on them for hero models or old school hero models is quite nice on the cave squig. Then I've got an odd knob level 4 War magic, of course, and Buzzgob's knobbly staff. Can't really remember what that does. I think it's something to do with. No, I'll look it up in a minute. There's my obligatory Black Orc mob, which you have to take, but for a core unit, it's fine. 65 points just to get a fighty Black Orc war boss. I felt that was kind of worth doing, and and because you can stick it in core at 65 points, you don't have to spend on something else core wise. 3 Fanatics in a Night Goblin mob. Wanted to try some Fanatics out because they're quite iconic, really. And this is something that the Tomb King list has kind of like encouraged me to do. The Snotlings, the Swarm models, or basically
Unbreakable, right? In this game is
it's cool, really cool. That's a lot of wounds in that unit, So 6 wounds apiece. Was that 48? Is that right? Maths. Something like that. So that'll take some killing, even though they will get killed very quickly, or easily rather. Then I've gone with 2 Boar Boy mobs because I have plenty of Boar Boy models. Tried 1 unit out against Statrat in the Empire game. Quite like them, even though they did end up running away. And the War Banner is really cool for adding extra distance to your charge as well. And having big guns on them, you can really make them pack a punch. And then I stuck the other 4 Boar Boys in just as an extra unit to roam around, really. But then 5 Mangler Squigs. Oh yeah, baby. That's why you got 5
chasing the characters.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, stat-wise, for 95 points each, it's just wrong. It's almost as bad as a 70-point Scorpion. But yeah, they're just so good.
Value for money, Mangler Squids are up there in the old world as a game. So absolutely. It only made sense to take 5 and see what they could do.
Exactly. I mean, there may be an imminent rule about duplicates within rare and special, so we're getting them in now while there is no official ruling, because it might not be that you can take any more than 2 duplicate rare choices. So 5, they're going in.
Absolutely, while you can.
Yeah.
We played for the objective, the Doom of Otto Todmeyer, which is Breakpoint, which we have played before, and it's one of the regular 6 that we get.
We've been through all of them now, haven't we? We haven't missed any, have we?
Yeah, we've done them all. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
There's some we've done more than others, but yeah, this one Breakpoint, which is once you get 25%, then you are dead. That's it. End of game. Yeah. Major victory for the opponent.
Yeah.
Over to deployment, and this is how we deployed. Again, quite nice to try all the things. So it was all the different units. We've got movement. We've got from the I played the Wood Elves. From my point of view, we've got the Wild Riders on the left. Just in front of them, a unit of Dryads with the Treeman Ancient to their right. Then at the back, we've got all the bows and all the actual elves, being as cowardly as you like. With the on the right hand side, Treekin, the ones at the very right, Treeman just in front of them, and the other unit, Dryads, just there. Sort of spread out my threats if you will, into sort of 3 different areas. Hoping, you deployed first, 1-for-1, and put one of your cav units down. So I thought, well, the arcane bodkins will help that.
Yeah.
So that was the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, for myself, left to right, I've got the Black Hawk mob on the left, the 5 models. Didn't really know whether they could do anything, really, whether there were enough of them, because we're already thinking infantry isn't fantastic, let alone just 5 of them. But they have got a decent armor save on them, so then they may be an issue. And obviously they are toughness 4, so they're not squishy. Then I got one of my manglers, and behind that is another mangler. So I've got the non-mangler model on the correct base, and then a mangler model on an incorrect base. You get your head around that. Then I've got a night goblin, big boss on a giant cave squig, who's on the square base, just off kilter to the water. Then I've got the 4 orc ball boys. Then the black orc war boss is on the chariot. Then the 7 ball boys, who are the big ones. Behind them is the night goblin odd knob with his night goblin fanatic mob, which is really cool. Can't wait to see those. Then I've got another mangler next to them. In the forest are the snotlings in skirmishy formation, and then 2 manglers on the other side. I mean, it's just so many
Mangler
manglers.
Central, yeah,
I
so
love
good.
it. Yeah. Oh, and behind him is another night goblin.
Yeah, which you can see here.
Well.
You get the first turn and move up aggressive.
It's advanced.
What else are you going to do?
Advanced, yeah. I mean, obviously the manglers are moving random movement. Although we did work out, because we had a few questions about that going in previous battles, didn't we? You roll them random distance and then you move up to that amount.
So yeah, that's a recent change through the FAQ. So that's quite a big one, really, in terms of random movement. Random movement is already pretty good because you can move around and wheel into things from different things.
But now it's not as unpredictable for yourself.
So that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Really, there's no loss to rolling high. You always want to roll high and give yourself as many options as possible. It's only if you roll low that you're restricted. So
but otherwise it's a moving up from the Orcs and Goblins
everywhere. Yeah, I mean, really, it was a case of not really worry about what charges me in return and see what happens. I think I stayed with the ball boys. I stayed out of short range of your bows, but apart from that, it was just get forward. And don't leave a charge on the tree man for the tree man, basically.
For sure, yeah. This was an interesting one because it was something that we didn't we sort of didn't think about until it came up. Skirmishes. Skirmishes are a bit of a thing that we haven't got too much experience with. So very much would like to know whether we played this right. But both can see because of heights and stuff. Because you're a behemoth, right?
Yeah.
Is there any reason they couldn't both charge? And we thought, as we looked at the skirmisher rules, and they said that you treat them all separate and individual, and as long as you can get in, so we didn't see any reason why not. Really, exactly. So both of these charge over here, and all of these charge as well. Treekin, we know as when doing this, we know that's a bad matchup, but.
Yes.
If we can kill them before it goes, then it's all right. So there's a bit of gamble going on there. Otherwise, and
the reason you say it's a bad matchup is purely because of killing blow, basically.
Killing blow. We had it against the Minotaurs. It's not much better with the Treekin. But yeah, and then otherwise the other the Dryads and the Treeman go into the swarm, just looking for that break point. If we can get that quickly, maybe we can put some.
Because there's a lot of wounds sitting in the swarm. Although I should say it's not wounds; it's unit strength.
It's unit strength, yeah. But I imagine they're not small unit strength.
No, not swarms. No.
But I don't know. Otherwise, this is the remaining moves. Obviously, the bows don't move at all. The tree man, ancient moves a little bit to be in range of things, and the Spellweaver that's out on that right hand side on her own, bless her, just goes behind the forest.
Yeah. Actually, I've just looked at it, and the unit strength of this swarm, the snotling unit, is actually 24, which is just as high as the night goblin unit behind them, and everything else unit strength is like less than 5. So yeah, it's a good portion of my unit strength in that snotling unit.
Yeah. I get wind blast off on the mangler squig.
Mm-hmm.
The mangler? Is
Yeah,
it just mangler? I can't
it's
remember.
mangler.
It's
Yeah.
mangler squig, right? And my arcane bodkins go off on and kill 2 cav. So there you go.
I think I got quite lucky with that, didn't I? I think I did a roll a few 6 high armor
Yeah,
saves to keep
potentially.
you alive.
Yeah, potentially. Otherwise, in Magic, I get these 2 vortexes off from each of the level 4s, which is quite cool. Tree Singing seems to be one of the better vortexes, not because it does damage or anything, but because it blocks line of sight and things.
Yes.
So that was quite a nice one for us. And obviously, in terms of the Mangler, it would take DTs as well. So
that one doesn't move as well, does it? That one
they don't move. Yeah, which is
that's so much.
That's
more
the key
reliable
thing, to be honest. In the vortex things, if you're going for a vortex, choose one that doesn't move. Obviously, it can be dispelled, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I kill this mangler, which is great. Everything going in, and I overrun into one of your manglers. Squig
Big
cave
bosses,
squig
not goblin
characters.
Boss,
yeah. And overrun like so with the Dryads, because why not?
Yeah.
Over here, I do a bunch of wounds, but you're unbreakable, so we continue
There's
to carry on.
more wounds in there.
Yeah. Over here, I don't kill you, and out of your 4 attacks, you roll
5, I think.
5 attacks.
Yeah.
4 or 5 attacks. You roll 2 6s when you wound, and that is not good for the Shrieking.
It's actually D6 attacks, but I did.
Oh
roll,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think I must have rolled a 4 or 5.
But either way, 2 6s means dead Shrieking.
Yeah.
Basically.
Over
there,
which is awesome for me.
Yeah, manglers, man.
Yeah. Well, killing
so yeah. Well, that 95. Those 2 6s killed more than 95 points worth of Shrieking on its own. So there you go. Yeah. This is how it ended up at the end of the turn, and then over to the Orcs and Goblins' turn. Getting
it's funny.
Sun shining.
I know. I'd chosen this is a couple of battles I've had with Orcs and Goblins, and the War Magic just doesn't seem to do a lot from what I can tell so far. That might be a controversial statement. Feel free to hit me up in the comments with other people's experience of War Magic. Maybe it's because so far I think I've been using the Goblin one rather than the Orc one. I think I had an Orc one before. But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't seem like I had anything that really competed with other Magic in other battles I've had. But could be early days, so you know.
Yeah.
But yes, so there wasn't a lot going on Magic-wise, I don't think. But I do declare some charges, and I figure those trees can't possibly be dangerous. And yeah,
Well, we looked at the Tree Man Ancient stats.
No,
and we were...
it wasn't the trees that did it, was it? It
wasn't the trees. It was the Tree Man Ancient stats, and we were like, well, he's got 3 attacks, which just which just sucks.
It's just awful, isn't it?
It's just terrible. So
I figured I was good to charge both my Black Orc
and I was
general.
looking at the things again, desperately trying to find why he's so many points and why he's good. And he does have Strangle Roots. Now, this is another thing that the first time we played a Tree Man or Tree Man Ancient, we have no idea any reason why he couldn't do it.
Stunned and shoot. Yeah.
So we used it as a stun and shoot. So let us know if that's wrong and why it's wrong. Don't just say it's wrong. But
or don't just call us idiots for not knowing that it was
so we did look for a while. We couldn't see any reason why not to. So we used it, Strangle Roots, and it killed 4 out of the 5 remaining, which was pretty insane, actually. And we looked at it again and we were like, whoa, that chariot charge isn't a dead cert.
No, and if I send one ball boy in, not quite as good on his own.
Yeah,
certainly against the Tree Man. The 3 attacks might be enough to kill one ball boy.
Yeah, well, true.
Yeah.
And there's the Strangler Root shot. I mean, I got loads of shots as well. To be fair,
you did.
So,
yeah.
There's that. This is showing the rest of the charges, and you went into.
I mean, it did mean that the ball boy didn't have to go through the trees anymore. Bonus, right? So, but otherwise, the small unit of ball boys goes into the flank of the Dryads because that just seems like a great place to be. And the Black Orcs had just enough room to get into the what are they called, Wild Riders.
Wild Riders, yeah.
And I think I did originally declare a charge with the Mangler over there, and then realised it doesn't declare charges, so it didn't really need a charge marker. It was going to go where the hell it wanted anyway.
Yeah. Well, which is good though as well, because technically from behind those forests it can't see anything to declare a charge. So, because
oh no, sorry, I meant the one. I meant the one on the left of the picture, actually.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But yes, the one behind the trees wouldn't be able to see anything. And it just barrels right through the forest and doesn't take any DTs. So, yeah, he's going to go after some archers.
Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, you can see the other mangler squid going into those poor Treekin. Treekin.
Surely, I mean, now it's 2 versus 2, baby. Yeah.
And that Spillwing was like, what are you... Oh, God.
Can you deal with them, please?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Orc Boar Chariot, the Black Orc War Boss, does get in, thankfully, to join the other Boar Boy. And the other Mangler on the left goes into the Wild Riders to help out with the Black Orcs. So looking pretty good for the aggressive Orcs at the minute.
Absolutely.
Going for it.
Over here, the Boar Boys go in, do a bunch of wounds, take none in return because I've got none to attack from that point of view. We give ground... Oh no, we flee in good order and move to here, which is why I've turned around. In good order. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why I've turned. But yeah, you're back into me there. Over here, it's just decimation on all parts. Everything, loads of things die. But in the end, I die more. The Wood Elves die a little bit more. And flee. I think they rolled like a 10 or something like that as well. They rolled really high. So they are actually fleeing.
Yeah.
Treekin died.
Yeah.
It's like not even close either. It was, it was just like, oh, we think that's a bad matchup. Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were just glad to do 2 wounds to one of them.
I know, in the end, yeah.
But
that's what it is. Continue to do a pretty good job in the middle against these swarms. It is taking a while, which is, I guess, the whole point of a swarm.
Definitely.
But I'm not taking any in return, which is good. So chewing through them at that point.
Yeah, even though I was unbreakable, I was giving ground. Wasn't I think I was moving backwards.
I think so, or it didn't really.
It wouldn't make much difference.
Largely,
we'd kind of isolated that fight anyway. So.
Yeah. Over here, massive fluff fest from the Orcs and Goblins.
Whiff-tastic. It was ridiculous. I was even with Evil Sun Shining, which I think that's by the spell. Reroll 1s to hit and improve AP by 1. It was like, you've got an Ogre Blade, you think it's really good. Well, it's not that great. Because I think I did 1 wound, which
you didn't actually do too. Oh yeah,
I didn't do a wound with the Ogre Blade, did I? Or was it the Boar Boy who did it? Or were we in a challenge?
It must have.
Or maybe it was one of the Boar or the Orcs on the chariot.
Yeah, true.
The Ogre Blade did not. Basically, I just whiffed, and you didn't do much better back with your. Well, I suppose you only had 3 attacks.
I did really good.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a draw. I think was it a draw? Because I've got close order for the Boar Boy. So yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But yeah, so the massive whiff fest there, and this is how it looks at the end of the Orcs' turn. Moving on to...
I put another vortex up, didn't I?
You did,
which in my turn
came to bite you in the bum. And
how accurate was this guy?
The graphics show.
Hey,
that's the vortex moving. I'll try and get some more interesting graphics go forward. But
what do you mean more interesting graphics? That was incredible.
I know. But it meant
you even took the forest with you.
Oh yeah. But that meant the vortex did.
It landed right on the mangler.
Which is
so that was my own vortex for the record.
Yeah. It helped me out muchly. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
My guys move up like so, and the Spellweaver moves up to there, a little bit lost. I'm like a bit scared.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
the thing with random movers is though that they still have to wheel, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah. I must have fell back in good order. Actually, I might have been preempting something on the left-hand side. So the actual what's it called the hunter, wild hunter, might have actually fell back in a good order rather than fled because it's still there, really.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I was coming back from another game.
Otherwise, there's not really much to tell in terms of the movement, so we move straight on to other things, and it ends up being the Orcs and Goblins. I don't get too much off in the way of magic either, because you're a bit closer. I think you're dispelling things, but into combat, and yeah, it's just not good over this side. The Wild Huntsman dies. I again, at least, yeah, I think I fall back in good order again with the Dryads, and that's a good flank for the Orcs and Goblins.
Oh yeah.
The misery compounds when the Tree Man Ancient, probably rightfully so, dies to the Ogre Blade
Yeah.
this time around.
Although I failed to stop myself from pursuing the dead
Yes.
tree man, and the chariot goes careening off the board, or nearly off the board.
Yeah.
Could have done with him just turning around and going after some elves, but no, he wanted to run after a dead tree man.
Yeah.
So
This is showing the giving ground and the continued killing of swarms, snotling swarms. But yeah, they're still around. And this is the end of the turn, thusly. Over here, you then decide to throw your wrecking teams like that.
Oh yeah, my Fanatics, yeah.
Fanatics.
Yeah.
And kills a bunch of these.
It was a weird one because we were so far into the battle that we were like, oh, now we've got to read Fanatic rules because we have no idea how these work. And like, I read through it and we read through it again and we were like, there's nothing that says they can't go into combat.
Yeah.
And I don't care about snotlings. And actually, I don't have to hit my own snotlings. I just run them straight through your units.
Yeah.
So, because I basically released them on that parallel line.
Let us know if and why we're wrong. But that's how I played it. So
yeah. And basically, because there were three of them, one of them went through, bounced all the way through. Then the second one went through, bounced through, killed the first one. Then the third one went through, bounced through, killed the second one, leaving only one left on the other side because he'd killed the other two. Yeah. And in the meantime, killed 6 Dryads and did 2 wounds to the tree man.
Yeah. Incredible.
It's just hilarious.
Do they count for unit strength out of interest?
I didn't add them on.
I don't. It in this battle it won't matter, but that'd be interesting if you did it and lost the battle but killed something at the same time.
By killing your own model.
That'd be quite funny.
I mean, maybe. No, I had written down the Night Goblin unit counted as 25 unit strength when there were 25 Night Goblins, but maybe it should.
But obviously, my Dryads obviously quite a big part of the breaking point, and with everything over here, they die over here as well. Leaving this as what is the final picture, because I'm looking at it now. I don't think I perhaps did because I've got so many infantry in the middle, but they are surrounded.
The tree can probably count for 12.
Yes, and I've lost so much, and we were like, well, that's going to go one way on that side. In the middle,
the Wild Riders would have been 12 as well, and then the Dryads would have been. So yeah.
If it wasn't breakpoint, it was very close.
Soon gonna be,
and we called it there for a victory. That's
other way around.
That's got to be the other way around, yeah. Points wise, but it was a crushing victory for the Orcs. But regardless, so there we are. For that, well done. Good game. Breaking Point's an interesting one, and I'll go back to.
I quite like it actually.
Yeah,
I think it gets you used to playing unit strength.
I also
as
think,
a concept.
Yeah, I think you've got to be a bit careful with the big unit strength stuff that you then have.
Yes.
Like perhaps on hindsight, the Dryads were more important than I gave them credit for in this.
Yeah.
So that's
how many were in each unit? 12 in each.
12 in each, so 24 total.
So, I guess. 24. That's the same as my Snotlings. So yeah.
Yeah. So something to consider for you guys. Anybody watching, if you like tailoring lists for Breakpoint, or for the objectives and things like that, if you're even taking them into account. But let us know what you think of Breakpoint and some of the other scenarios that we've got, and whether we did all those things right. We think we did.
There was a few
but
things.
but who knows? Who knows?
We've definitely sort of reached a point now with our, haven't we, where we're not worrying as much if we're
Yeah,
not getting everything 100% right, because we're trying to continue the flow of the game.
we are.
And
Yeah, we're
the
losing less time
rightness,
because of that
we
as
are.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So don't get too frustrated if you're like, oh, they're still getting something wrong. Chances are we probably are just moving the game along, not intentionally doing it wrong.
And let us know
But
if you know 100% why. And what really helps is if you can show us in the rulebook exactly where it is.
rather than
That
it just being all my group's opinion is
yes,
this.
yeah.
We play it this way because of this. That
Or if
doesn't
it's in
really
the
help.
FAQ, yeah, exactly. So all those things. But yeah, otherwise it was quite a fun game. I hope you enjoyed. And
Oh, I did.
Orcs, yeah, with percent.
It was a good
Manglers as
one for
well,
Orcs.
man.
Oh,
Manglers,
so
very
good.
nice.
Yeah.
But as well as
Yeah.
leaving a comment, if you want to check us out on all the social media forums, X, Facebook, and of course join our Patreon, and try out all these stuff on Warhol as well.
Yeah. Looking forward to more as we go.
Yeah.
Good fun, and we do like having your comments, and yeah, just some people who've done some really long comments, which is really cool as well. Thanks for taking the time to do those. Obviously, the more constructive the better. Yeah, we enjoy responding and see what you say. It helps us to improve. So all is good.
But until next time, thank you very much for watching. See you later.
Get your feet so back, relax with Proxy.